Hi everyone! As you can already see the title, it's about eye drawing. But let me tell you something first. In my last tutorial video, I've seen many people had problem because of the speed of the video, and also they had hard time understanding the difficult parts or the complicated parts. So I decided to give it another go, but this time I want to focus on each part at a time and also make the video much slower for a better understanding. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into the video. First we need two circles, one bigger and one smaller. The bigger circle is the outline of the iris and the smaller one is for pupil. Today I'm going to choose a desaturated dark blue color and black for the basic colors. Go back to layer 1 and make a thick outline using black. Now take a new layer above the layer 1 where we're going to paint the iris muscles, which is the most laborious process. These lines don't have to be perfect, don't have to be same length, just paint it and make sure that it maintains the circular formation. Another very important thing you need to keep in mind, that is to draw these lines very quickly, as fast as you can, so that you can avoid making the lines shaky. So I would personally suggest you to paint them very fast in one go. Now we are going to paint the darker lines from the periphery towards the center. First we started with towards periphery from the center. Now we are going to do the opposite using dark color. In this case, our goal is to make them perfectly imperfect. So be random. Make thicker lines, thinner lines. It all depends on you. We need to keep the asymmetry because sometimes asymmetry looks much better than symmetric looks. Go back to the layer 1 and use a smudge brush to mix the inner outline of the black part We are now going to do the same thing for the pupil with its outline. We're going to smudge it so that it looks like it's mingling with the iris. We are going to go back to first layer and we are going to paint some protrusions, that is bump-like structures, from the periphery towards the center using black color. Go back to the iris muscle layer and take another layer above it. Now change the layer mode to color dodge because we are going to make some color pop. You can be random in this time as well. Just give some colors that is of course close to your eye color here and there, and once you are happy with it, make it blur using lens blur. Now take a new layer above this color dodge layer, and now this is going to be interesting. So we're going to paint more muscles, but this time a bit different way. Watch me painting this. You can be random this time as well. The keyword is be random. That's the plan. So you can make your lines bumpy and curvy, but still kind of circular. And if you are not happy with the shape, you can always change the shape. From those curvy, bumpy lines, draw some lines that are going towards the center. Take a new layer and push it downwards to the layer where we just painted the thick optical muscles. Choose black color again and start painting inside the curved part towards the center. Now it's time for painting the reflection. So we're going to take a new layer and take a color that is close to white but not actually white. The most important thing is always anything that reflects is going to be circular or curved. If you want to go for a more realistic look, you can try drawing something inside that white reflection. Go back to the pupil layer after painting the reflection for painting a dark shadow just under the reflection, because always remember, where there's a bright reflection there will be always a dark shadow just around it. Now we are going to do another important thing, that is the reflection of the eyelashes. It's really important because these small details are the thing that makes the eye look realistic. Finally, it's time for the highlight, and to do that we are going to take another new layer and change the layer mode to add. Now follow the way I am doing the highlights. It should be very minimal, you don't need to overdo it, and you can even blur it to decrease the intensity of the highlight. Now we are going to do a quick recap of the layers that we have used. We have used total of 10 layers. So the lowermost layer is going to be the basic color for the iris. The second layer would be the protrusion like structures for giving it an asymmetrical look. The third layer is going to be the thin or the finer iris muscles. The fourth layer is going to be color dodge to make some color pop. Fifth and sixth layers are for the painting and shading purpose of the thicker muscles. And next we have our pupil and the shadow of the reflection that we painted in the next layer. And the layer above the reflection is going to be the eyelash. And finally there's the highlight layer. So if you ask me if I take these many layers for painting an eye, I would say no. But I would suggest you to use many layers if you are trying to be safe. Before ending this tutorial, one important thing that you have to keep in mind when you are actually painting an eye, the upper eyelid will always cover some part of the iris, and just under the upper eyelid we have to make a dark shadow because that's the shadow of the eyelid to make it look realistic. So always keep it in mind when you are painting an eye which is looking straight, then it always covers a bit of the iris so it doesn't actually look completely circular. I will talk more when I'm going to paint the eyelids in the next tutorial. Hope it was understandable and you could learn something from this video. Please let me know your opinions and I'll see you next week.